I told my daughter she needs to get over her jealousy, and it is her own fault. Her life is the way it is. This has been an ongoing issue, and I need some outside opinions with my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter is working as a waitress ever since she dropped out of college. She wasn't going to classes, and she GPA plummeted. The university kicked her out. Due to this, she doesn't have much money to do anything. My other daughter is graduating and just got a job offer to a good company. I will call the oldest Madison and the younger Becky. Fake names. Becky is going to make good money starting her job and doesn't have any loans. She got a full ride to her college. Madison is in debt and struggling, and this is where the help is issues stem from. She believes she should be going better than Becky since she is older. I have tried over and over to help her, but she has turned bitter about anything that Becky achieves. Becky told us she planned on going to Iceland in the fall. It was a quick conversation, but in the car ride home, Madison went off. She was pissed that she gets to do all this cool stuff and that it wasn't fair. She started to insult Becky, and that is when I had enough. I told her she needs to get over jealousy, and the reason her life is the way it is her own fault. We got into an argument, and she is pissed. My wife thinks I went too far, but I think she need to hear it. Okay, you think that was bad. Story number 2 is about to make your blood boil. My friend invited herself to my vacation, and I won't let her stay with me. Thank you, mods, for approving. I posted over a month ago about my friend who invited herself last minute to my vacation. I want to clear a few things that kept coming up in the comments. When I wrote the post, everything just happened, and my frustration showed in my writing. Diane is a good friend of mine. I don't hate her. She can just be a bit much at times. I said that she invited herself because she didn't ask to join us. After our plans were finalized, she told us she was coming and expected us to accommodate her. We all specifically wanted our own rooms. The other ladies wanted to enjoy their spouse/kid free time alone. This was my first vacation in a long time without the ex-hubby, so I just needed some space. I hope you can understand. Now for the update. Although I was voted NTA, many commented that maybe I wasn't a good friend. I felt bad about that, so I gave Diane another call to work things out, and she answered. She wanted to know why I wouldn't accommodate her, and I told her what I said above. I also reminded her of our previous trips where we roomed together. That took us down the memory lane where we talked about all of the things we used to get into. LOL. It turned into a pleasant hour-long conversation. I discussed why it wouldn't be a good idea for us to share rooms. We just have different travel styles. I like to get up early, walk around, shop. She wants to sleep in and veg out. The last time we shared a room was a disaster. There were a few hiccups on that trip, and she complained about it all day. And then again at night when we were in the room. I had no reprieve from the non-stop complaints. She was not always like that. She grew less tolerant over time, as we all, but she took it to an extreme. She said she doesn't complain. She just observes where there can be improvements. LOL. We worked it out. The other ladies also made peace with her. Diane and a friend joined our trip and stayed at a nearby property. They were welcome to join us at our pool and other activities. Of course, the beginning was not smooth sailing. We had our vacation set up, where we had 2 days of group excursions. The remaining days we would play it by ear. Just agree to meet for dinner. I told Diane she and her friend could join us on the excursions. She complained that they started too early. She went to the first one and complained that each stop was too short. We should have went with a private tour, etc. I pulled her to the side and asked her to stop complaining. To her credit, she stopped until we went to dinner, and then she complained about everything all over again. I suggested that she not join the other excursion, as it would be more of the same. She asked if I didn't want her around. I said not for the excursion, LOL. So we met for dinner on the other excursion day and hung out on other days. With the exception of the one excursion, it went pretty well. So that is it. Nothing too dramatic, and we managed to stay friends through it. That was Sarah and her wedding drama. But next up, we have Jessica. And trust me, her family makes Sarah look like a saint. I lost my childhood friend of 15 years for not letting his girlfriend claim the master bedroom for themselves in our Airbnb me, 34M, and my friend John, 34M, had been close friends for over 15 years. We lived together at one point and basically considered each other brothers. A few years ago, he got into a relationship with Amy, 37. John has never been a very emotional or sentimental guy, so when he decided he wanted to marry her and asked me and another mate to be his groomsmen, we were both genuinely happy for him. One thing he mentioned, though, was that he wished Amy and I got along better. Apparently, she had been saying I wasn't really making an effort with her, which honestly confused me because I felt like I had. Whenever we were at their place for drinks or hangouts, I'd always greet her, talk to her, and try include her in games or conversations because she's naturally shy and reserved. If anything, I felt like I was usually the one initiating conversations. Anyway, fast forward, and our friend group organized an overnight getaway. Me and my partner were organizing it for about 10 people. We found a really good Airbnb everyone liked, except John and Amy took ages deciding if they were coming. By the time they finally responded, the place was unavailable. We found a backup Airbnb, but it was smaller, meaning not every couple would automatically get their own room. In our group, we've always had a tradition where we play drinking games, and whoever wins gets first pick of the rooms. Dumb, maybe, but it's always been a fun and fair system. I messaged John asking if they were still keen to come, and he replied, saying Amy wasn't comfortable sharing a room with other people. I reminded him that we always decide rooms fairly, and it wouldn't really be fair to make an exception just for them. Later he came back saying, "Well, why don't you share your room with someone else so we can have it?" That honestly shocked me because it felt completely out of character for him. I told him I didn't think that was fair to ask of me or anyone else. After that, they decided not to come at all. What bothered me most was that there were other solutions. They could have helped us look for a bigger place or suggested alternatives, but instead it felt like Amy got upset we didn't immediately give them what they wanted. After that, everything between me and John basically died. No messages, no invites, nothing. They ended up having a wedding in secret, with only her friends and family there. None of John's longtime friends were invited anymore. They've since had a baby, and I don't even know the child's name. I'm getting married next year, and honestly don't even know if John would come if I invited him. I think what hurts most is losing a 15-year friendship over something that feels so small. Part of me feels like Amy probably pushed him to choose between the relationship and his friendships, and he chose her, which I can understand to a degree, but it still sucks. Maybe I'm missing something, but it still feels surreal. This was what ended such a long friendship. So, AITA for not going? Let me know, but before you judge me, you need to hear what happened at Jessica's wedding. Because compared to this next story, mine was nothing. Story 4 starts now. AITA for telling my daughter I am disgusted by her and telling her ex she has been taking their kid to his family side throwaway account. My daughter and Ryan, her ex, are 26 now. When they were both 18, my daughter got pregnant. They got an apartment together and started to raise their little family. They never got married, but Ryan's family pressured them to do it often. Multiple times I heard them say, those two need to stop living in sin. The issue was a year ago when Ryan was caught cheating, and he is gay. The breakup was extremely messy, and in the end, the custody was 50-50. Ryan's family is really religious, and when it came out, they were breaking. They were pissed. When they learned Ryan was gay, they disowned him. I was at my daughter's place helping her move out when I heard Ryan's mother call him a faggot. So his family is really shitty people. After he was disowned, for some reason, they thought he would give them access to the grandbaby. He basically told them to shove it. I know about this because they contacted me once to let them see the kid while I was babysitting. I told them no. 50-50 has been a bit rough for my daughter. It is hard for her not to have her kid for major events. Example. Ryan had custody of the grandbaby during Easter, but he agreed to let my daughter have him that day so they can celebrate with my side of the family. My daughter was over to pick up some stuff, and she showed me pictures from her latest weekend trip. In the picture, there was Ryan's mom and his two siblings. I asked what this was about, and she told me that she has been taking the kid to see them for a few months now. I asked if Ryan knew. I thought they got back in contact, and she told me no. I told her that it was horrible to do, that they are bigots and disowned their kid. She got defensive, and it went into an argument. She defended taking her kids around homophobes, and I told her I was disgusted by what she was doing. I informed Ryan, he thanked me, and now my daughter's super pissed. Ryan apparently is refusing to be lenient anymore with custody, so more getting the kid on not her day, even if my daughter wants them for some event. Story 5. My kids refuse to come to my wedding unless they can bring Grandma Edit. I'm going to offer to pay for a caregiver for the night. I will find the money, and hopefully it isn't too expensive. I divorced my ex-wife about 7 years ago. At the time, I was the stay-at-home parent, and my wife wanted to bring her old mother to live with us. It was a big argument. I didn't want her to move in because I knew that I would have to look after her and basically become a caregiver for her. I wanted her to go to a home. My ex-wife told me she was moving in no matter what, since she is the one that pays the bills. That is when we got divorced, and I went back to work. I got every weekend with custody. I tired for more, but it's really hard when you don't have much money. Unfortunately, the care for Grandma fell on my two oldest kids when they were with their mom. It was a long-running agreement between me and my ex-wife. That was 7 years ago, and I am getting remarried. My kids are now 21, 20, and 18. They still live at their mom's and take care of Grandma. I still see them most weekends. My ex-wife works long hours to support everyone, and so the care falls on them. I disagree with it so much. It doesn't help that my kids are bitter. I divorced their mom, and they were forced into a care role. They love their grandma, but are burnt out. I've told them so many times they can live with me full time, but they feel like they can't walk away, because who would take care of grandma? I sent out invites to the wedding. They already knew the date, and I thought it was all good. I got a call from my oldest saying they need to bring grandma and needs an invite. I don't care for grandma. She was a royal bitch when I first met my wife and into our marriage. I told her that she isn't invited and my ex-wife can look after her for a night. My kids told me she can't since she will be working. My wedding is on a Saturday a year from now. She can watch her mother one night a year form. Now I told my oldest no, and their mom will need to figure it out. She then told me she will not come if grandma can't come. I reiterated grandma is not invited. We got into a big argument about it, and she told me I need to step up, unlike what I did years ago. The divorce. I told her she is welcome to come, but grandma is not invited. My other kid have texted they are not coming if grandma can't. Finally, AITA for telling my wife my mother is correct, and she needed to be a parent today, and she fucked it up. I am waiting in the airport, and I need to know if I fucked up or not. This week my daughter, she is in middle school, lost a classmate. My daughter has not taken it well, and overall this is her first experience of someone she knows dying. The whole class was excused from school today, and the funeral is happening right now. I unfortunately could not be there. I tried, but my PTO was denied, and we cannot lose this job. I flew out of Wednesday night, and I am coming back now. Our daughter is a mess. She was friends with the girl that passed away. The plan was for my wife, she is unemployed at the moment, to take her to the funeral/mass and just be there. My wife is more spiritual than the average person and hates all things with the dead, funerals, viewing, and so on. This one is only a mass funeral, no viewing. She believes in ghosts and will avoid funerals like the plague. We discussed it on Wednesday, and she said she would take our kid and then go to the gravesite. I got a call from my daughter sobbing that she wasn't going to the funeral. My wife was refusing to take her. When I got her to answer my call, she told me she can't do it, and she is scared to go. I called up my mom and asked her to pick up my daughter and take her to the funeral. My mom left work and took her. They are there now. I got a call from my wife after with her crying because my mom tore her a new one. The gist was my mom called her a bad parent and that it is so fuck up that she couldn't take out kid to the funeral of a classmate. She wants me to make my mom a poll goes, and I told her my mom was right, that this was something that our daughter needed and she fucked up. That she wasn't acting like a parent because of her fear of the dead. All she needed to do was stay through mass. We got into a huge phone call agreement, and she is calling me a huge dick. My mom is apparently getting texts also, and I told her to not let our daughter know that we are fighting, and if she could look after her for the day. She agreed.